Chapter 15. How to explain an absent father to my child. My mother never said anything bad about my absent father. She always advised my brother and me to pray for him. That's the best advice I can give to a mother with a child who has an absent father. Men are not perfect, and neither are women. We all make mistakes and need forgiveness at some point. The issues with absent fathers has been going on for thousands of years, and children have been getting their hearts broken that same amount of time. Too often, are single mothers left to explain to their children why their fathers are absent. Also too often, the single mothers are required to be mothers, fathers, and grandfathers. In many families, not only is the father not in the picture, but also the grandfather is not active in the child's life either. It is important to have stable men in the family. My father was not around when I was growing up, but thankfully, I had my grandfather and my uncles to fill that void. Not all children are so fortunate. So how do you have a conversation with your children when they are asking questions about where their father is? Just remember this discussion is very important and could affect your children for the rest of their lives. If a child feels he is the reason his father left, he may become withdrawn or have further issues as he grows into an adult. The first step is to ask them why they think their father is not around as much as they would like. This will give you an idea on what your child is thinking, and you will know how to proceed. If your child says he does not know, you have a clean slate to discuss this topic. If your child gives specific reasons why he thinks his father is not around, you need to tailor your message to carefully respond to this. Just keep in mind that your child is impressionable and will trust anything you say to a certain extent. If you are dealing with a toddler, your message is going to be different than if you're dealing with a preteen. I feel it is important to tell a child the truth, depending on what the truth is. It is difficult to tell a child his father is in prison, but if that's the case, you should explain that the father is in prison, and that's a place you never want your child to go. Emphasize the importance of education as a means of staying out of prison or other trouble. I also believe if a child's father or mother is in prison, the remaining parent must offer to take the child to visit the imprisoned parent. I know some think a child should not see their parent like that, but this situation can be used as a teachable moment by once again focusing on the importance of education and striving for success. Even though the other parent may have done something wrong, that parent still has a right to see their child. Some people will say, if that parent wanted to see their child, that parent would not have engaged in behavior that got him or her arrested. Once again, we all make mistakes. That being said, if you feel the imprisoned parent will be negative, or that he or she does not appreciate the time with the child, don't take the child. That parent is going to have to earn your trust that he or she will not inflict additional damage. If a father is not around just because he does not want to make time for your children, that conversation can be difficult as well. The first conversation with the father should help you get an idea on how much he wants to be in the life of his child. Don't let him off the hook. Hold him to the schedule and remind him if he does not follow that schedule, but don't nag. If he does not want anything to do with you or your child, let him know he will nevertheless have the financial responsibility for the child, but that you will never say anything bad about him to your child. Let him know your child will grow up and make his own decision whether he wants a relationship with his father, who will by that time be getting older and needing someone to love him. If the child's father is not going to be around, make sure you tell that child his father was trying to figure out some things in his life, and at this point he has decided not to be around as much as you would like. but that you will all continue to pray for him. Allow this conversation to be a teachable moment too, and show your child the importance of praying for someone and not hating another person. Your prayers that he will choose to be in his child's life may not come to fruition quickly, but it's important for your child to see you be a bigger person and that you show love and compassion. You may not know it, but your children may mimic you in how you handle situations for years. I know it was difficult for my mother to always be positive about my father, but she always told us, you will make up your own mind about your father. Just pray for him. It is tough to speak in a positive way about someone when he was paying $365 a month to take care of 2 or 3 children. It is also difficult if the father never gives Christmas presents or birthday gifts, or forgets to attend important academic or sporting events. My mother would tell you she is not a saint, but she felt in her heart that she would rather her boys have a positive picture of their father than a negative one. I can never thank my mother enough for that, because that built the foundation for my father and I to have a better relationship. Mothers are so special in the sense that they can take so much and still be positive and loving. I know many single mothers who are raising their children with minimal help, yet they seem to keep their focus on their children. Another important element to consider when discussing an absent father is your opinion about him personally and how you feel about him not being there. It is important that you are not blaming yourself. Your child can sense when something is wrong or if you are not happy. A key requirement for successfully raising your child is to take time and focus on yourself and your happiness. If you are not happy with yourself, you will take that unhappiness out on your children. How many of us have been having a bad day and snapped at our children for minor offenses that would have normally been swept under the rug? My mother was never a fan of bringing a lot of men around the house. She knew she was a mother first, and there were times when she had to put her romantic relationships on hold to nurture her relationship with my brother and me. I know that you have to live your life and that you have needs, but when you bring a man into the picture, it should only be when you are serious about him. If you are dating casually, it is a good idea to do so away from the eyes of your children. You are first and foremost a mother or a father, responsible for raising your children in the best manner possible. This is difficult for women and men who do not have a village when they just need a night out. But just remember, the children will be better off in the long run. If anything, have a guy or lady come over after your kids are asleep. Focus on your own happiness and be aware that a man or woman may not be what makes you happy. Some women and men benefit from taking a break from dating and focusing on other things to make them happy, such as furthering their education, creating a business, or starting a hobby.